I've never been the kind of man who liked causing a scene. I've always believed in handling things quietly, calmly, even when it hurts. But that night, in the middle of a crowded restaurant, I learned that silence can sometimes scream louder than anger ever could. It was a Friday evening, the kind that hums with wine, laughter, and soft lighting. My wife, Claire, had arranged a small dinner to celebrate my promotion, a table of familiar faces, warm food, and a few too many glasses of champagne. My best friend, Ryan, sat beside her. We'd known each other since college, bonded through bad decisions and better memories. He'd even been my best man at our wedding. Everything felt light until the joke began. Someone teased about how Ryan and I used to compete for girls back in the day. I chuckled it off. Then Claire, with that half-smile she wore when she wanted every eye on her, leaned forward and said, "Oh, please, if Ryan had made a move on me back then, I probably would have said yes." The table burst into laughter. Everyone thought it was harmless. Everyone except me. My laugh came late, tight, empty. I glanced at Ryan. He gave an awkward chuckle, scratching the back of his neck. Claire sipped her drink and added, "I mean, look at him. Charming, confident, knows how to flirt. Maybe I married the wrong guy." That one landed harder than it should have. The laughter thinned. A few uneasy glances passed between friends, the kind that asks silently, "Did she really just say that?" Claire didn't notice. Maybe she was tipsy. Or maybe it wasn't the alcohol speaking at all. Maybe it was something she'd been testing for a while. I'd felt her slipping away for months. Late-night phone scrolling, empty smiles, the way she pulled her hand back when I tried to hold it. I kept telling myself it was stress. That love sometimes steps out for air, but always comes home. That night, I realized love might not be coming back. Ryan tried to smooth it over. All right, he said, raising his hands. "Let's not get me in trouble here." Claire laughed, but I heard the edge beneath it. "Oh, relax. I'm joking. Don't be so sensitive, Michael." Sensitive? She'd used that word before, like it meant weak. I stared at my plate. The laughter started up again, uneven and strained. My hands didn't move. I remember how the candlelight flickered against her face, making her look softer than she was being. When the waiter passed by, I asked for the check. The table went still. Claire tilted her head. "Already? You're not mad, are you?" I smiled. Or at least something that resembled one. "No. Not mad. Just done." The words came out too calm, the kind of calm that's been waiting years to be heard. "Done?" she asked, forcing a laugh. I looked at Ryan. "You've always been honest with me, right?" He nodded slowly. "Of course." "Good," I said. "Then I'll be honest too. A joke's only funny when everyone's laughing. And tonight, only one person was." I stood up. The restaurant seemed to hush around me, clinking dishes fading into a dull blur. Claire's smirk melted into confusion, then shame. She whispered something I didn't catch. I placed enough cash on the table to cover the bill. "You can stay if you want," I told her. "Looks like you're enjoying the company." Ryan's mouth opened, then closed. No one else moved. I walked out without another word. Outside, the air was sharp, that kind of cold that strips the warmth right off your skin. I stood there for a moment, listening to my own heartbeat settle. My phone buzzed, her name glowing on the screen. I didn't answer. I just started walking, not fast, not furious, steady. Because sometimes the quietest exit makes the loudest point. When I got home, I poured a glass of whiskey and sat in the dark. The laughter from dinner still echoed in my head, her voice looping like a bad song that refuses to fade. I thought about the man I'd been for the last 10 years. Loyal, patient, predictable. The kind who believes love, if tended, can survive anything. But maybe what I'd called patience was just fear. Fear of facing what was already gone. That night, I finally stopped being afraid. Claire came home after midnight. I heard the door open slow, careful, the way a guilty child sneaks in after curfew. I didn't move. The whiskey glass sat untouched beside me. Her heels clicked across the floor, and in the faint light, I saw her eyes searching for a version of me that no longer existed. Michael, she began softly, are you seriously upset about that? It was just a joke. I looked at her, calm, steady. You embarrass me, Claire. In front of our friends. In front of Ryan, she sighed, tossing her purse onto the chair. Oh, come on. Don't make this bigger than it is. Everyone laughed. Yeah, I said quietly. Everyone did. Except me. She crossed her arms, her tone sharpening. You always do this. You take everything too seriously. I was trying to lighten the mood. You've been so distant lately, I thought maybe… Humor? I interrupted. You mean joking about sleeping with my best friend? Her face faltered. You know I didn't mean it like that. Then how did you mean it? I asked, voice low. Because lately, I can't tell when you're joking and when you're telling me the truth. The silence stretched between us, thick and uncomfortable. She was the first to look away. You're being dramatic, she muttered. No, I said. I'm being honest. There's a difference. She rolled her eyes, mumbled something under her breath, and walked toward the bedroom. I watched her go, realizing how natural it had become for her to turn her back on me. Not just tonight, but for months. The next morning, I woke up early and started packing. Only the essentials, clothes, laptop, toothbrush. The kind of packing that says I won't be back. She came out of the bedroom, still in her robe. Her eyes widened. What are you doing? I'm giving you space, I said, zipping my bag. Since I'm apparently too sensitive to take a joke. She blinked, caught between a laugh and a cry. You're overreacting, Michael. You're really going to walk out over this? I looked at her, then at the wedding photo on the wall. Two people smiling, believing in forever. No, I said softly. I'm walking out over everything that led to this. She stepped closer. So that's it. That's it. The silence that followed was so deep it almost felt respectful. Then she whispered, You'll regret this. Maybe, I said. But at least I'll regret it with dignity. I walked out, and this time I didn't look back. For the first few days, I stayed in a motel across town. Quiet. Anonymous. I didn't tell anyone where I was, not even Ryan. I wasn't angry at him. I was just done letting people cross lines I hadn't drawn. He called a few times, left messages. Man, I'm sorry for what happened. I swear I didn't know she'd say that. I didn't respond. I wasn't ready to be the therapist for the wreckage of my own life. In the stillness of that motel room, something strange happened. I started to feel lighter. I realized how long I'd been carrying the weight of trying to keep someone happy who'd already stopped caring. On the fifth night, Claire texted, I miss you. Can we talk? I stared at the message for a long time. Then typed back, You don't miss me. You miss control. I didn't send it. I deleted the text, turned off the phone, and sat in silence. The truth was, I didn't hate her. I wasn't even angry anymore. I just didn't recognize who she'd become. Or maybe I didn't recognize the illusion I'd been protecting all this time. A week later, her lawyer emailed me. She'd filed for separation. I felt relieved. That night, I sat on the motel balcony, watching the city lights flicker like faraway fires. For the first time in years, I wasn't waiting for someone to understand me. I wasn't trying to earn anyone's approval. I was just free. People say closure comes from talking things out. But I've learned that sometimes closure comes when you walk away, without another word. I ran into Ryan months later at a coffee shop. He apologized again, said he hadn't spoken to Claire since that night. I told him it didn't matter, because it didn't. I'd already forgiven both of them. Not because they deserved it, but because I deserved peace. Before I left, he asked, Do you ever miss her? I smiled faintly. No. I miss who I thought she was. Then I walked out, the door chime echoing behind me, a small, final sound to close a chapter that had stayed open too long. Because sometimes the loudest revenge isn't anger, or justice, or confrontation. It's silence. It's peace. It's knowing that while they're still talking about what happened, you've already moved on.